I'm Devni Ratnaik, the moderator of today's session. So now it's time to start the session named What the Industry Expects for a Fresh Graduate, organized by the IEEE Young Professionals Sri Lanka, collaborating with the Industry Academia Dialogue Forum. We aim to impart the knowledge on technical skills and enhance the soft skills of undergraduates for a successful career who are willing to bloom in the field of IT. So it's a great pleasure to welcome you all to today's session and hope it will be a great experience for you. So without any further, let's move to the most awaited part of the session. So we have an amazing guest for today's session. So before I'm going to invite him, I would like to give a small introduction about him. He is a partner and the Chief Operating Officer at Rootcode and the former President of Software Operation at IFS, having 23 years of experience in the field of IT. And also he is a General Council member at 𝐿𝐴𝐶𝐿, as well as a board member of the Center for IT Education Service in the Open University of Sri Lanka. Is no one else. He's Mr. Mangala Perera. So, Mr. Mangala Perera, I'd like to respectfully welcome you and invite you to share your valuable experiences and expertise with these participants.
Thank you, Demini. I think I'm audible for everyone, right?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you very much for that nice introduction and good evening to everyone. Let me share my screen. Just let me know when you can see my screen. I don't have much text, but I have just a few slides. You can see my screen as well, I guess.
Yes, sir, we can see your screen.
Cool. So once again, thank you very much for the organizers to organizing this webinar, which is very relevant. At the same time, thank you very much for inviting me to share my inputs, because I really think, like, this sort of inputs, you should, when I say you, the undergraduates and also fresh graduates coming from universities should get from the industry time to time, because I always tell, like, when you get the opportunity, it's too late to prepare. So it's always good to prepare in advance. And thank you very much for inviting me. And I will actually today talk about in general, because I think that most of you are undergraduates and some of you are fresh graduates. And since I am from the IT industry, my session will be biased to IT industry. And also, since if you take IT industry, the majority are software engineers, it can be a little biased to software engineers as well. But I tried my best when I think about what I'm going to share with you to make sure that at least more than 70% is relevant to any undergraduate. So in this webinar, I will basically cover about the differences between two worlds, academic world and the corporate world. So there's a huge difference between academic world and the corporate world, but you don't have to worry about that, all these differences. But I'll try to emphasize very few differences, which will bring you extra expectation, additional expectation than what you have today, right? So basically, we'll talk about those differences in the two worlds, and then I will talk about some mindset change that we need from you to have when you want to join the industry and also when you want to succeed in the industry. Then there's a big discussion going on, theory versus practical, right? So this is the mostly arguable discussion. You probably have heard many different opinions from many different experts. So I will share my thoughts around it. Is it theory, or is it practical, or is it both, or is it a balance? And then also I can talk about what sort of things that we look into. And when I say I try to be best to talk about, what industry expects rather than what I or what my company is expecting, because I have to wear a general hat. So I try to be very balanced, and I try to represent, the entire industry. And also I try to be, to make sure I'm representing everyone in this discussion. So the two different worlds, the academic world versus the corporate world. As I said, there's a huge difference between academic world and the corporate world. But again, the expectation that you had in the academic world are different, and also the expectation that we have in the corporate world is actually, you know, as I said, they're different from the what we expect in the academic world. But major differences, the number one is being a solo player or being a team player. If you look at, I mean, nothing wrong with you, but if you look back your 13 to 15 years in your life within the academic industry, academic world, you know, if you become a solo player, if you become a very, very good in what you do, and you can win most of the challenges that you had in the academic world, right? If you take grade 5 scholarship exams, if you do your part well, you don't have to bother about your, you know, classmates. If you do your exams well, you win, they lose, right? So if you take the let's talk about, you know, getting a better position in the school, better grading in the education, the exams and whatever you do, and even, you know, track and field events, if it is 100 meters, if it is, you know, long jump, if you do your part well, and you can win. So this is the world that you have been, you know, living so far when I talk about the academic world. But when it comes to the corporate world, it's completely different, because corporate world is basically, you know, focusing on win-win scenarios rather than win-lose, and being a very you know, brilliant person doesn't mean that you can enter to the industry. It doesn't mean that you can succeed in the industry, because playing as a team is what is very, very important, and it's as a critical expectation that we have on you. So if you want to learn about, you know, the gaps that you need to fill in, I'm pretty sure that, you know, in the university you have done some group projects, and also you have probably have done industrial, you know, placement during these, you know, the projects, and also during these assignments that you got when you do your internships. I think you have already seen that, you know, team can produce more than what single person can do. So we have seen very smart people, those who are not really team players, and really bad team players, and in our terms we call brilliant jerks, you know. So this is one big expectation change when you move from that world to the corporate world. And if I talk more about the corporate world, you know, it doesn't matter one individual is succeeding in all these assignments if their team fails, right? So basically you have to win as a team. Sometimes winning as a team is not enough. You need to win as a department, and sometimes it's not also enough as a company. And if you go further, sometimes, you know, if you take for an example the IT industry, probably you have seen that all companies, or most of the companies in the IT industry, we are working together to make sure that we are supporting universities, we are, you know, building capacity, because at one point we also realized that, I mean, just winning as a company is also sometimes not enough, that if you fail as an industry, right? So then of course we are competing with other companies, but at some point, like, you know, we are working together as well. And think about if you join a company, and if you you know, do something for your customer, it's not only the company should win, and the customer should win. And sometimes we actually do you know, pitching, and also we work as partners with our competitors as well. So all in all, what I want to mention is this is the big difference. Like, if you do your work so far in your academic life and academic world, you can actually get better grades, you can win, you can face most of the challenges. But here onwards, if you want to join the industry, teamwork, it plays a big role, and this is one of the expectations that we have, and this is one of the expectation change that you will face when you join the industry. Number two is about learning from someone versus self-learning. Don't take it offended if I say it like this. You know, I think most of you went to tuition, right? So you go to school, you learn from the teacher in the school, then you go to a tuition class, and you learn it same thing from the tuition master. And in some scenarios, that's also not enough, and you ask, you know, the individual classes, the teachers to come to your place and also, you know, they teach you. So this is the world that you are now in, and I'm not saying it is bad. It is wrong, because I know that we all know A level, and for an example, it's a different animal and a strange exam. We all know that, and in order to get through that, you have to do all what you want to do. But this these scenarios that you had faced during, you know, your A levels especially, and also probably you have that you know, mentality in the university as well. The danger of this scenario is that it creates a mindset in you. In order to get to know something complex, someone should teach you. Oh, maybe not one, probably two, right? So this is the other expectation change that you need to have, and also the mindset change that you need to have. If you, when you enter into the industry, we want you to learn. I mean, we want you to be a self-learner. I think I'm pretty sure that you are practicing it in the university, even today. And you know that Google, YouTube, and Stack Overflow. I'm pretty sure that if you're a software engineer, doesn't have to be a software engineer to get some support from Google and YouTube. But if you want to learn something, you know that there are plenty of resources around the world, and you can be a self-learner. You don't have to wait until someone to teach. So this is another big change that you will face when you enter into the industry. The other one is the communication part. And so far, if you take the number of years that you spend in the academic world, and you have been listening, right? I know that in the school that we can't even talk, right? You have no other option just than listening to your teacher. And you have, I mean, listening is a good skill, and listening is something important when it comes to communication as well. But when you enter into the industry, the communication plays a big role. And I can remember, like, before I enter into the industry, I thought like, okay, I'm joining the industry as a software engineer, and all what I will do is, like, you know, just hiding behind a screen and solving complex problems. But that is not the case, right? So if you join the industry, for an example, if you join an IT company, so you will be in a team that every morning you have the stand-up calls, right? You have to talk, you have to communicate, you have to tell what you are doing. And also when you tell what you're doing, you have to be precise as well. And also you have to clearly mention it as well. At the same time, if you hear someone is, you know, struggling with something, and if you know how to solve it, then you have to, you know, jump in and you have to talk as well. And at the same time, when you work with the customers, and if you are working, let's say if you're working on a very critical and complex scenario, let's say a high priority bug, it's very important to inform customer that you are working on it, and also you are progressing as well. So when it comes to communication, that is another thing that we really expect from you. When I say communication, doesn't mean that you have to, you know, talk fluently, and you have to talk like a DJ, or and also, you know, you don't have to speak as a native speaker. You don't have to be, you know, grammatically 100% correct. When I say communication, that means that you should be able to talk in English, and you should be able to convey the message that you have clearly and precisely. So this is another expectation that we have, which you probably haven't had in the, you know, academic world. I mean, if you are a lousy communicator, you can still get, you know, better grades and get through so all these exams. But if you want to succeed in the industry, and also if you want to enter into the industry, you need to focus on communication. And also, when I say communication, it's not about the, you know, how fluent you are. It's about whether you can communicate well and whether you can convey your message clearly so that the other person can understand. That's the other one. Then about the mindset. This is another thing. I'm not saying that this is something 100% you know, trained in the academic world. This is sort of a cultural thing, at the same time a part of a human behavior as well. Because I think most of you have heard about the fixed mindset versus growth mindset. But if you take some examples that you had in your you know, academic life, in the academic world, probably you have heard, like, you know, I'm good in science, I'm bad in maths, and I'm good in you know, football, but I can't swim. And also I know that you might have enough experience in some of you or most of your families that your father is saying, you know, I can't cook, and mother is saying, I can't fix a bulb. So I think we all know that it's a sort of a mindset, and which is wrong. So the mindset, the fixed mindset that you had while you were in the academic life, now you need to change. As the fixed mindset is like, you know, if you fail, you think it's a you know, it's a limit. And also if you challenge, you're not really sure whether it is for you, and you think either you can do it or you can't do it, right? Either you can draw a picture or you can't. And also you know, just sticking to what you know is something called fixed mindset. Even our terminology, you know, when you talk, we use those wrong terms day-to-day life as well. But the change that we are expecting from you when you enter to the industry, because it's about learning. I think, I mean, if you go back to that, you know, real life examples, that when someone is saying that I can't cook, we all know that it's not about he or she can't cook. It's about he or she didn't cook before, right? So all what you need is the ingredients and whatever you want to, let's say, like if you want to make a very tasty chicken curry, all what you need is chicken and ingredients and YouTube, right? So you go to YouTube, and then you might not be you know, the world best chef, but you can cook something that you can eat, right? So more you cook and you become better. The same goes to all other the skills that we have, and all other skills that we need to have to succeed in the industry. So basically, have a growth mindset and thinking about you can learn to do anything if you want, right? And probably you might not become the expert on it, and also we know that, you know, you need to spend enough time. You need to practice to become an expert. But that is because the lack of time you spend and lack of knowledge that you have right now, and you need to get there, is the main reason for you to not be able to do it, right? So this is sort of a mindset that we are expecting if you want to, you know, join the industry, and if you want to succeed in the industry. And also how you can respond to feedback, because feedback is always there for us to improve. But it's like candies, you might like some of those, you might not some of those. You know, when you eat candies, it comes with you know, different flavors. But all what we need to know is, like, you know, the always welcome feedback. And you don't have to take it as it is, but just think about why you get that feedback and why that person felt so. Then probably you know the answer, right? So those are the things that we really want you to have to be a successful employee in the industry. So you can train it from today. I mean, if you can't cook, I really suggest you to try it with YouTube. Then it gives you a bit of experience, and also confident that even for a tech stack that you think that you don't know and you can't do, you know basically that is because that you haven't spent time learning on it. And all what you need is book yourself an internet, go and refer online materials, and you can learn it, right? So have the growth mindset and get away from the fixed mindset. So this is really needed if you want to enter into the industry and also want to succeed in the industry. Then the common discussion about theory and versus the practice. And I know that I'm pretty sure that you have heard a lot of arguments, and some are saying that theory is not outdated, and sorry, theory is outdated, and that is why that you need to change the curriculums. And sometimes you might hear, you know, you need to do more practical, less theory. So what I want to tell you is both are important. The reason why I'm telling that both are important is, let's start from the theories. If you take IT industry for an example, if you look at the products and services that we give from Sri Lanka, we're not developing, you know, small software for groceries, right? So we are developing world-class, complex, robust, and more secure the software from here. I mean, in order to build these kind of complex and advanced software, sometimes, not sometimes, but always, that you need to know the theories behind that, why you do that, and because the whatever the code you write, it has to be written in a way that it works everywhere, and also you have practice all, you know, relevant theories, and also you know how it works, and you know why you do it. At the same time, it should be readable, and someone should, you know, should maintain your code as well. So that is why when it comes to theories, you shouldn't underestimate it. I know that because every time when, you know, the universities invite industry people to talk about it, I know that they're expecting we are coming here and talk about the practical stuff. I will definitely, I will give more emphasis to practical stuff, but I don't want to dilute the importance of, you know, solid foundation, solid the theoretical knowledge that you get from the university. But to be honest, I'm not worried too much, because I know in the university system, you need to, you know, the follow theories to get grades, right? And the way that our education system works, and the way that we were trained in the education, is that whatever you need to do to get marks, you do it, right? So that is why I know that you're covering the theory parts in the university, and I really want you to be serious on it. So learn those theories, everything that you learn in whatever the curriculums that you have. Now, then let's come to the practice. Yes, as you know, as same as any industry person who come and talk about it, I will also emphasize the practicals that you do, the time you spend on practicals are very crucial. The reason why I'm telling this is when you learn complex subjects, you know, there is something called illusion of competence. Illusion of competence is the best example I can share with you is that you all know when you did A levels, you know that going to many tuition masters will not actually make you sure that you know the subject, right? So when you listen to them, you feel like you know it, and when you listen to them, you know that you understood it. But if you try to solve puzzles, so solve the question, so the whatever the tunes, you realize that you know whether you got it or not, right? So you know that do it by yourself is the best way to learn something. It's like, you know, watching cricket. When you watch cricket, you can probably advise 𝐞𝐱𝐩𝐿 and what could have done, right? So the way that he could have bet, but you know that as a fact, and you need to go to the pitch with the bat and hit the ball to realize whether you can play cricket or not. So it's like, watching cricket sometimes, and it's like listen to your A-level, maths teacher. But unless you do it by yourself, you will not realize how much you should do to become an expert. So that is why doing practicals and then doing real projects and using some set of tech stacks and getting that exposure is very, very crucial for you to get into the industry. Now, if I talk about, I know that you probably expect me to talk about some tech stacks. I can actually mention some tech stacks, but I really don't want to emphasize like those are the only tech stacks that you should learn. All what I want to tell you is like, now, if you take the number of tech stacks in the industry, I can give a long list, like, you might probably wonder, maybe we can, yeah, 1 minute. You can, okay, before we go to the T-shape, I can tell you about the most trending tech stack. I know that when you think about tech stacks to do the project work, you might probably wonder, okay, what is the database I should use? Is it Postgres, or is it MySQL, or MS SQL Server, or MongoDB? And then if you're going to do a web project, you might probably think about, okay, is it React or Angular, and if it is a mobile development, is it a Flutter or React Native, or whether you do it with the native application. So now the question is, what you should do and what tech stacks that you should pick in order to enter into the industry, in order to fulfill our expectation from the industry. So this is why actually I use this T-shaped people. To be honest, I believe if you are a software engineer, I'm now talking about software engineers, but all other disciplines that you do, like if you are from a different domain, and you can relate what I'm telling into your domain as well. All what you expect from a university student is to become a T-shaped student. When I say T-shape, that means when you have your hands, that means that most of those tech stacks that I mentioned to some extent. You don't have to be an expert. For an example, if you do one project in React, and also if you develop an application in React Native, just try a very, very simple, not probably the deep the app that you did using React Native, but a very simple app using Flutter, right? So you don't need to be an expert on all these areas. This is you can see that the depth of learning, the leg of the T. This is where that you need to have expertise, that you have spent more time and you have done more complex projects. Let's say, like, you have done the mobile application in, as I said, the React Native, and then maybe some Node.js, maybe with the Postgres from the database point of view. But that is your T, right? If it is a very complex and good enough project that the right level of the expertise that you can get. But then try other things as well, because that will give you understanding about what other technologies that we have in the industry. But when it comes to what we expect from the industry, we are not expecting you to know everything, to be honest. But we want to know whether you have spent enough time with some tech stacks, and also you have done enough projects to make sure that you practice what you learn from the theories. So that is our expectation. So keep in your mind, what we are looking for is T-shaped students, which is not impossible. And when I say, like, you don't need, when I say learn about most of those tech stack, I'm not saying that you need to be an expert. Just read about it. Even Hello World is enough. Then those tech stacks. But spend enough time with one particular tech stack, then you know it very well. Then you can talk about it in the interviews, and you can mention that you know it. And because in the interviews, if you say something that you know, we definitely go into the deep discussion. And if you say like, I haven't done enough projects on this, but I know it a little bit, then we know that you know it, to some extent. If you have done, good enough projects in one particular the tech stack, then we know that you can learn other things as well. The other reason why I'm telling you about to make sure that you have solid the academic and the fundamental theories, at the same time you have practiced different tech stacks. The reason is those technology stacks, they change time to time. I mean, if I share my experience in last 24 years in the industry. 23 years ago, I joined the company which used the 𝐶𝐚𝐭 as a language to develop the desktop application, but I know that none of you even heard about it, right? So then for web development, we use active server pages, and eventually both these tech stacks disappeared, because some tech stacks they are like mushrooms, they come and go, and then you need to move to another. So then we move to Java server pages. I don't know whether you have heard about it. And then eventually, we move into most latest technologies. And the reason why those technologies are changing, and the reason why you are going through many different waves of technology changes, these are the two reasons as far as I see. If you look back, I mean, this is continuing. If you look at the way that the users of software, and this is what has happened, right? So from the mainframes to desktop to laptop to tablet to mobile, right? So when if you look at the transformation that happen when it comes to the way that our users are using software, you can see that this is the reason why some technologies couldn't catch up, but at the same time some new technologies really came to the surface and became very popular. And this will happen in the future as well. You might think like, the React Native is the way to go now if you're developing the mobile application, but Flutter is now, coming as well. But you never know what is the next mobile development tech stack in 2 years' time. So this is why even though you are good in one technology, you should be able to learn other new technologies as well. So that fast learning is another thing that we are expecting when you join the industry, instead of just framing yourself into one particular technology. And also the other revolutionary changes which has happened over the years is the industry revolution. So the first industry revolution happened many years ago when we invented the steam engines, and then the mass production and assembly lines and electricity. And the third revolution happened when computers and robots came in. And now we are in the fourth revolution, where machines can talk to each other. And not only that, a machine can think, your fridge can think, your TV can think, and they can talk to each other. So this is the world that we are living in. You can see the way that our user has evolved, the way that they use the software products. At the same time, you can see the environment around us has changed with IoT to cloud to big data, all these buzzwords, right? And also the advancements in AI domain. So this is going to happen in next few years as well. It's a continuous journey. So if you think now, like, I learn let's say Java, and that is enough. So it is not the case. So what I want to emphasize is now, before I move to the next topic, make sure that you learn whatever the theories that you have in your curriculum very well. Then you can actually relate those things when you apply these things in different tech stacks. At the same time, do enough projects, practice, and practice, and so that some tech stacks to a deeper level. At the same time, you know, if you're a software engineer, sorry if I'm now more biased into software engineering area, but you can relate it to other areas as well. If you're a software engineer, don't label yourself to any particular tech stack, but keep it open, and make someone who has a growth mindset, who can say like, I haven't done Flutter, but I can learn Flutter. But I'm a native, I'm a React Native developer, but I will learn Flutter. Just give me a couple of weeks. I will, you know, go to Udemy or Coursera or YouTube. I can learn and do it, right? So this is what I want you to have. In order to have it, you need to have both theory and both practice. Then about the internship. So when it comes to internships, I mean, this is the best thing that you can, you know, capitalize as an opportunity. If you want to prepare yourself to join the industry, do the internships very well. It's not because of it is part of your, you know, academic requirement. Even if you don't have academic requirement to do an internship, do an internship, because internships will give you proper experience into the real corporate world, right? So and also when you do the internship, one advice I want you to tell, and that is, don't treat yourself as an intern when you join the industry, because I have seen it in most of the interns. When they join the industry, they think like they are interns, they treat themselves as an interns. But we from the industry, we don't want to treat any intern as an intern. We want them to be, you know, treated as full employee. So when you're looking for internships, join companies those who treat you as full employee, those who do not use you to, you know, get low-hanging fruits done, those who actually deploy you into real teams and let you to work in real teams, right? So when I say don't treat yourself as an intern, don't get scared. I mean, industry is not unfair. We know that you are probably a second year student or third year student. Now you are in the final year, you are joining the industry for a 6 months internship. Then we know what we expect from you when it comes to the knowledge. But the confident level point of view, make sure that you forget that you are an intern, and you think that you are a full-time team member. Because the beauty of this industry is, I have seen, you know, 20 years experience juniors in the industry, at the same time 3 months experience interns as senior people, because the seniority is actually coming from your behaviors and the capabilities of what you do, rather than number of years that you were in the industry. So if you don't treat yourself as an intern, no one will treat you as an intern. But take those internship opportunities to be you know, the full-time member. At the same time, you know, work as you know, if you join the industry, like you will be in the stand-up, you will learn not only the technology stacks, you will learn about the processes, and you also learn about, you know, the different cultures in the industry, what is right and what is wrong. So all the, it's just a total package that you will get. So take internship serious. I can give you one example. When I was in my the previous company, there was an intern who is good, very I mean, good in basketball. When he was in the school, he volunteered to coach the basketball team of that company during his internship. I mean, this is the mindset, like, you know, intern joined that company and he became the coach of the basketball team. Like, you know, that is the mindset. So all in all, what I'm going to repeat is, take internship opportunities and take it serious, not only to learn and also to build confidence. So when you go back to the university, then you know what is expecting, and also then get to know those gaps that you have and work on it seriously, so that you can easily come into the industry. And then another thing, now since we are talking about the degree, and then since we are talking about the, the curriculums and theories, there is one other thing now industry believes, and almost everyone in the industry now, know it. In order to get into the industry, you don't need a degree, but probably in order to succeed in the industry, you need to have a degree. So this is a common slogan now we are actually talking about, because if you know some theory, and if you know some tech stacks, you can actually join the industry as interns or scholarship students, because I have seen many scholarship students, those who really succeeded in both were like, they even got colors from the university, at the same time very high performing scholarship students within the organization. So if you are an undergraduate right now, and if you wonder whether I can work while learning, what I can tell you is, I can give you the confidence. I have seen many scholarship students, those who nicely manage both, like, as I said, high performing scholarship student were at the same time in the other world, they are even getting colors and also grades and also very, very nice GPA. When you finish the degree, you have real-time experience in the industry. So if you have an opportunity to join the industry as as an intern or a scholarship student, to work and study parallelly, take that opportunity. I can tell you that there are thousands of students, those who have proved that it is possible. Then finally, since I have a few minutes, I can talk about what we really expect in the interviews, right? So this is also, I think, something that you want me to talk about. First of all, I want to tell you interview panels and what they expect, and the conversation that they would have with you will differ from company to company. So there is no cookbook for interview panels, and there is no one way of that they evaluate you. Because if you take the industry, there are many. If you talk about the IT industry, there are many different kind of companies, right? So there are companies, those who have their own products, and some of them are using their proprietary technology stacks, and some of them are project-based companies, those who always do new projects, so that they have the luxury of doing we call greenfield development, meaning that they can pick any latest technology and do the project. So it's a big spectrum, right? So they, based on what their requirements, and based on how fast you to come on board and develop things, so they might expect different things from you. But one thing for sure, one common thing, so let's talk about the common thing. One common thing is they are expecting you to know whatever you did in the university, they expect that you have done it well. And that's why that most of the time when I talk to the interview panels, they are thinking, they're telling it's important that they know the good foundation, and they know they have a solid foundation when it comes to theory. So make sure that you cover those theories in the university as well. At the same time, the same old topic that we were discussing, the practice and practice and practice. Make sure that you have done enough projects, and make sure that you have used most trending tech stacks in your projects, so that you can talk about it. So there can be some companies, those who are looking for React developers, then they will hire students, those who have done React projects very well. But there are so many companies, those who are looking for software engineers, that they want to train them in different tech stacks. So if you have done React projects, and if they realize that you have done it really well, they know that you will learn the other tech stack fast. So whatever the company in this big spectrum that I mentioned, they will expect two things. One is that you have done your degree program very well, whatever the exams that you did so far, based on which level that you are entering. Like if you are entering as an intern or a scholarship student, so the bar is lower. They know that you have only covered first year and second year. But if you are joining, as a full-time, the regular software engineer, then they expect you have covered everything what you learn in the university. At the same time, you have learned some tech stacks very well. So that means that they get the confidence that you can learn other things as well, since you have hands-on experience in some set of tech stacks. Then as I mentioned, communication is very important. Then they will actually give more marks for the communication as well, because if you are really weak in communication, basically almost all companies, they will struggle with you if they hire you and they give you a placement in a team, because they know that if we hire someone, that person should communicate with the team, stakeholders, and even with the customers. Then the other thing is about how positive you are, because we all know that we are full of problem-oriented people, those who only talk about problems and problems and problems. So be a solution-oriented person, be a very positive person, because no one wants to hire someone who is complaining about everything, but everyone wants to hire people who bring positive vibe to the team, and be a positive spiral, and also be someone who is talking about solution rather than the problems. Then the first thing I mentioned, you want to be a really good team player. And sometimes I used to ask in the final interviews about the group projects, and how you enjoyed dealing with the different batchmates in the group projects. I think you all know the challenges that you face when you do the group projects, right? So if you're a brilliant student, you might probably already felt many times that if I do it by myself, I will finish it soon, right? So these are the challenges that you need to handle and learn to handle, how you can work with many different kind of people when you do group projects. You all know that you need to handle free riders, right? So just be in the team, but don't really contribute. And then sometimes you need to recognize your strengths as well. If someone is very good in presentation, and someone is very good in back end, someone is very good in front end, you know how to use your strengths to do a project. So we will check basically how good you are when it comes to team, working in a team. So those are the essentials basically that we are looking into when it comes to interview. Yeah, so that is all actually I have prepared to share with you, because I didn't want to share too many things as well, because you might not remember everything. But keep in your mind, and it's a two different world, but you don't have to be scared. It's you just join the industry, and you will grow within the industry. But before you join the industry, there are things that you can do and you can prepare, so that you can easily get into the industry, and you can have a kickstart in the industry to succeed within the industry. So those are the things, as I said, be a team player, not a solo player, and have a growth mindset, and make sure that you are a self-learner and you can learn anything fast. And also, make sure that that you practice on the theories that you learn, and also don't underestimate the things that you have in your curriculum, because they are there for a reason. And if you have a solid foundation, you can learn many other things as well when you join the industry. Yeah, that's all from me. I'll stop sharing. Is there any questions? If you have, we can discuss.
Yes, thank you very much for your amazing explanation, sir. I'm pretty sure all the participants gain a lot of knowledge and the newest ideas on their career lives. So the audience, I guess also you have some questions to ask from these experts. So I would like to remind you that you can ask any question by using the comment section, and I'm inviting you to drop your questions and get the clarification to them as well. So Mr. Mangala Perera, we can wait a few minutes for them
Sure,
to drop their questions.
no worries.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
how graduates can upgrade themselves to compete in the job market. I think this is pretty much, the same thing that I can that repeat. So what is the differentiator? Like for an example, now, if you look at the job market and if you look at the graduates coming out, now you can see, like, it's unlike those days, there are so many universities. At the same time, there are so many graduates are coming out from the universities. But the problem is, if you, first of all, I can tell you the opportunities we have within the industry. Now I'm again talking about IT industry. Sorry about if there are any other the undergraduates or fresh graduates, those who want to join different industries. If you take IT industry, in 2019 we did a survey, and a number of graduates coming out from the universities and number of IT jobs within the industry, there was a gap with 10,000. That means 10,000 less students are coming from the universities. So that is one way of looking at it. We have more opportunities than number of graduates coming out from the university. It is actually, even today, it is same. But the other side of the story is, when we are going to fill those vacancies, we don't have right people as well. Like, for an example, there are graduates in the industry, those who haven't got the the right opportunity within the industry because of the industry expectation gap. So the differentiator is, regardless of the degree that you are doing, regardless of the university that you are in, the differentiator is actually the essence of what I have mentioned. If I answer your question in detail, that means I need to repeat the same thing what I said. So basically, make sure that you do your academic things well. At the same time, you have your hands-on practical experience with very good communication skills and all other soft skills that I mentioned. So this is the main differentiator for you to get into the industry. Yeah, I think the Diniti's question and Anuruddha's question are both pretty similar. So those are the things that you need to focus on. Do software engineering. Yeah, sorry, you want to read it, or you? Okay, I was also about to read it.
No, sir, you can.
I can read it, right? So do software engineering, computer science degree are mandatory. What about IT related degree to become a software engineer? As I told you, like, to enter into the industry, you don't need to have a degree, right? So this is what we are now seeing, and it's common in the industry as well. We are giving a lot of scholarships and also internships. Now it is becoming a trend, like, the students are joining while studying and continuing working as scholarship students or interns until they finish the degree. So that really tells you it's okay to do the different the IT related degrees, but as long as you spend your own time on learning theories and practicing it. Because now what I want to tell you is, to gather right knowledge, you don't have to now only rely on your institute. You don't have to really rely on the curriculum that you have in the university. So now there are so many ways that you can learn software engineering. There are so many ways that you can contribute to software engineering projects as well. You can even contribute to open source projects as well. So get hands-on and know those tech stacks, and then if you show yourself in the interview, and if the panel realize that you have done your job very well as a student, so then you will get the job. Yeah. Graduate students' grade or class impact on their dream job. It's like this. You don't, I mean, if you completely fail in your academic life, and if you get very, very low GPA, that tells a different story, different message, right? That means that I mean, you haven't done your academic life very well. That is a message. So that message can hinder your chances to get into the industry, but it doesn't mean that getting a first class is or second upper. I mean, because we know that there are students, those who don't want to, spend 100% in the academic life. They want to do some hands-on. So we have seen very brilliant second lower graders, and also we have seen first class holders, those who are not really fitting into the industry as well. So your GPA not playing one-to-one role get into the industry, but if your GPA is very low and if you got a bit of lousy results in your academic life, that can hinder your chances to get into better positions. What are the resources for learning coding from the beginning? Are those online learning platform enough to get to start? Yeah. Basically, I mean, let's take for an example. If you want to learn about the mobile development, go to Coursera. There are so many free courses that you can do, and also in Harvard that you can do CS50 that course, and also in Udemy you can find the very good courses. And if you go to Coursera, sometimes they ask you to pay, but you can always go for audit only. That means that you will not get the certificate, but you can follow the entire course for free. So basically, almost all these, the reputed online courses are good enough for you to learn the hands-on, the work. Yeah. And also one other thing that I wanted to mention, I actually forgot to mention in the when I talk about what we expect. The other thing is that just try to stay tuned. That means that read about what's happening in the industry, read about new technologies, read about what are the development in different areas. So it is, I mean, just become someone who is curious about what's happening in the industry, and also be up to date. And so we call it basically stay tuned. So then that will help you to be sharp when you join the industry. Any more questions?
So are there any more questions, guys? If you have any question, please ask them now.
Yeah, no, okay, there's another question. What are the sources that we can use to be updated about the IT industry? Yeah, I mean, basically, if you Google for IT related, magazines, and also you can follow. For an example, if you go to Twitter, you can follow some, there are so many channels in Twitter, and also you can listen to some podcasts. There are, I mean, if you Google, you can find many different channels and many different sources, those who talk about current trends based on the tech stacks. Even for particular tech stacks, you can actually Google and find there are so many. Okay, when we do a group project, there are some members do not do their task on time. I know that. Okay, this is exactly what I mentioned. What are the tips that you can give to improve performance of the team? I think the best way to do it is, first of all, you need to accept, like, if you get a team, it's not your control. Like, sometimes you have the control to pick the team, so then make sure that pick right team. But if you don't have the control to pick the team, I think dealing with those students, those batchmates, is also teaching you a different set of skills, like how to deal with people. And I know that sometimes you have to do the bit of hard work while some of them are having free rides. The best thing is just learn how to give feedback, and when you give the feedback, don't jump into judgment, but just talk about what you feel. I mean, that is the best way to give feedback. If someone is not contributing, then I think it's very important, like you should talk to them, openly, and also you can talk about, the consequences of their behaviors. But if they are not still listening to you, the best way is do it anyway, and that will give you, the other type of skills, like how you can tolerate some challenges, at the same time how you can the handle conflicts. So that's why I said, like, group projects will teach you a lot. It's not about what you produce from the project, it's about who you become end of the project. Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Someone asked a question. Her question is, so could you then explain about graduate student grade and class?
Yeah, as I said, you don't have to have a first class to get into the industry, but if you have a very low GPA, as I said, it tells another story about how good you are when it comes to your academic work, and also how responsible you are, how you take challenges and succeed. Just give me 1 minute. Sorry, there's a small hiccup here. Yeah, so if you get low the GPA, as I said, it will give a different message to the interview panel, like how you can handle things, how you can take a challenge, how you can succeed in a challenge. But it doesn't mean that you have to get first class. If you can get a first class, that's fine. But when it comes to hiring, it's all depends on who you are, rather than all your rather than taking your academic performance only. Yeah, so all in all, make sure that you get a good GPA, but it's not mandatory to get a minute. It's not a mandatory thing to get a first class or second upper, but even we have seen second lower grades, and those who get the average GPA start to perform very well when they enter to the industry. But again, take your academic life also serious. I'm not going to spoil you saying that.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your nice explanation. So are there any more questions? Seems like there are no any more questions, so we can continue with the session ahead now. So
all right, so thank you Dharmini and the team for organizing this, and I wish everyone all the best. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much, sir, for your nice explanations. I hope everyone has clarified their questions and gained a lot of knowledge. So we have spent a great time with you, sir. So now we would like to show our gratitude for your valuable contribution, dedication, and everything you have given to us. So we would like to provide you with this token of appreciation, and hopefully you will accept our gratitude.
Thank you. This means a lot. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, I will keep it with me. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Okay, and you are an amazing source of inspiration for us. So I think it's better to take this session as a memorable one. So I'd like to invite you to take a photograph. So please turn on your cameras for that. So guys, please turn on your cameras for that. I need to remind a small notice that we have attached the virtual background for the session with your email. So if anyone haven't, we have uploaded it in the comment section. So you can download it and put it as your virtual background now. So Janet Disanaika, it's over to take the photograph.
Okay, everyone, let's switch on your cameras so we can take our photograph soon. Okay, guys, everyone, please smile. I'm going to take the photograph now. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Janet Disanaika, and participants who have participated to this event. So I have to mention another small notice that we have uploaded a feedback form in the comment section below. So I'd like to invite you all to refer to it and fill that feedback form with your valuable feedback. So now I'm inviting Diniti Kimhara to deliver the word of thanks.
Thank you, Devmini. Good evening, everyone. It is such an honor for me to get the opportunity to thank you all. On behalf of the IEEE Young Professionals Let's Talk 2021 Organizing Committee, I extend a warm welcome to the people in the gathering. After attending the event, I hope you all gain lots of important things for your career path as well as your life. I would like to express my gratitude to all participants of the event for their presence and contribution to making this event a great success. I extend my gratitude to our guest speaker, Mr. Mangala Perera, for taking out time from your busy schedule to grace the event. Thank you for inspiring and encouraging us with your words. A special thanks to the Executive Committee of IEEE YP Sri Lanka section for all the guidance that you gave to organize this event, even amidst the pandemic. And I also would like to acknowledge my gratitude to the organizing committee of the Let's Talk 2021 for the support and effort you gave for the success of this event. Thank you, everyone, once again for making it a great success, and stay safe.
Thank you all, and have a nice evening then.
Yeah, thank you very much, Diniti Kimhara. So that brings us to the end of today's session. Actually, we have spent a valuable time discussing what the industry expects from a fresh graduate with Mangala Perera, Mr. Mangala Perera, sorry. So hope you found this webinar very useful and make this an inspiration for your career lives. So before we wrap up the session, I would like to thank you all who have participated and provide the support to make this session a successful one. So thank you again, stay safe and have a nice day.